Right, let's get this one done. I'm going to have some lunch. Hello and welcome to an AVForums short video overview of the Astell&Kern HC5 portable DAC. My name is Ed Selly, I'm the hi-fi editor for AVForums. Astell&Kern are best known for their portable audio players. The standard calling cards of the brand are exceptional metalwork, weighty construction, occasionally slightly unusual styling, but very, very proficient and very capable products that often wear some fairly hefty price tags. Not everyone wants a portable audio player in their lives in 2026. So in recent years, the company has been producing more of devices like the HC5, where you get the decoding, you get a USB input at one end, analog outputs the other, and you can use it with the digital source of your choice. This is the most ornate and sophisticated of them so far, and it wears a £400 price tag to sort of match that. And that £400 price point hasn't been selected at random, as we'll cover. The big deal here is that this product makes use of the flagship AKM decoding combination. So let me get this right. It is an AK4191 EQ digital processor and 4499EX DAC. So it's a two-stage process. We've tested it in a few different products, but this is obviously the smallest and, it must be said, the most affordable implementation where it's turned up. It's a pretty serious piece of decoding hardware, and as a matter of course, you get PCM support to 768 kilohertz and DSD to 512. Astell&Kern has packed some of their own technology in here as well. It's called DAR, not to be confused with VAR, Digital Audio Remaster. There are DSD and PCM modes for this, so it can convert PCM to DSD on the fly, and it can also upsample PCM on the fly. And if you don't want to monkey about with either of these things, you can turn it off. There are adjustable digital filters as well, and this is mated to a 150-step volume control. That's really quite useful, even if we accept that the couple of, at least the bottom 30 increments are, as best as I can tell, completely inaudible. What it's meant under test is that you've had the fine adjustment to set exactly the level you want with a variety of devices, rather than going for something approximating to the level that you want. It's enough fine adjustment that I think almost everyone is going to be happy with it. What you don't get is any form of onboard EQ, and there's no crossfeed. So if either of those functions are useful to you, and I won't lie, crossfeed is something that I like very much in my personal audio listening, you're either going to have to find another product, or you're going to have to implement it upstream before the Astell&Kern embarks on its decoding. What you get taken with one hand, you get given with the other. That AKM decoding combination and the way that this product is built means that it is balanced from front to back. So if you make use of the 4.4mm connection on the back of it, I'll get nice and close, so that's sort of in focus, you will have a fully balanced signal, which is in contrast to rivals, which we'll come to, where that isn't necessarily the case. You also get a display. Now, I've done incidental shots with the display running. I'm not going to power it up now because it requires a USB power source to actually do that. It's clear and it's easy to read, and there are lovely little touches like you can invert it. So depending on which way round this ends up after being hung on a USB cable, you can read it, and you can read it easily. What I'm less enthused about is that the entire menu system is built around this small button on the side. Once you get used to it, it's all right, but it's fiddly and it's not terribly intuitive. You keep thinking, or at least I keep thinking, that the rotary dial is going to be used to move menus around. It serves no function at all when you are adjusting settings on this product. If you touch the volume control, it will instantly exit the menus and go back to controlling the volume. So you have been warned. That being said, I don't think it's difficult to use. I love the display. I like being able to see what it's doing at a glance. It's very logical, and it's mated to a product which, like everything I've ever tested from Astell&Kern, is beautifully made. I don't think it's an accident that it comes out feeling the sort of shape and size as a really posh lighter. I think that's entirely deliberate, because those are very satisfying things to hold, and this is a very satisfying thing to hold as well. As a portable device, I think they've chosen the size and proportions really rather nicely indeed. And they're not done there either. As standard, you get this somewhat brown but extremely well thought out protective case. You also get two good quality short USB cables, one terminating in a USB-C connection and one terminating in a lightning connection. So out of the box, you get all the things that you need to get up and running. Another little detail that I quite like is that you can switch it between USB 1 and USB 2 modes. Why does this matter? If you want to plug this into a work PC and you don't have admin permission to install drivers, you can still get it up and running in USB 1 mode. That's quite handy and it's quite clever, and it's not particularly difficult to switch between the two modes depending on where you're using it. The decision not to fit a battery is quite interesting as well. There's two ways of looking at this. As a matter of course, it has a higher power draw than something with a battery in it, particularly when you tell that device not to stop to actually charge over the USB-C connection. But nevertheless, that battery life is finite. This will keep going for as long as the device you've got it connected for will keep going. So if you've got it connected to a laptop, especially something like a MacBook, which I've been using, which has a very, very long battery life, this will go as long as that will, which is a very long time indeed. It feels like one of the most considered bits of Astell&Kern engineering I've tested in quite a long time, and that includes things that have cost quite a lot more than this. I like how it sounds too. To be fair, I've liked almost everything I've heard with this AKM combo, but this is a really, really impressive piece of engineering because it doesn't grab you by the scruff of the neck the first time you listen to it. It's more that after sort of 4 or 5 hours where you've been listening to all sorts of things, both good and less good, and you realise it hasn't put a foot wrong. It's exciting when you want it to be exciting. It's considered, relaxed and capable when you're listening to something more cerebral. Fundamentally, across the adjustable filters and the upsampling, there will be a setting that appeals to you. I'd have loved crossfeed to be added as well, but I can't really fault how it sounds. Now, with that in mind, the small black elephant in the room is the newly updated Mojo 2, which has the same outputs as the Astell&Kern. Cards on the table. If you want the best sounding device that £400 will buy you, it's this one. We'll get that out of the way nice and early. The Mojo 2 does things that the Astell&Kern can't, even allowing for the fact that its decoding is single-ended and this is balanced over the 4.4mm connection into the same pair of earphones and then out into the same integrated amplifier. I've just found the performance of this product to be that little bit better. I also admire the fact that you get EQ and you do get crossfeed, but, and there is a but here, as a portable device, as a device to use hanging off the end of a phone and moving around, I significantly prefer this one. Why is that the case? Well, first of all, let's deal with the obvious one. It's a lot smaller. You get that carry case. This is something that's easier to stow when you're not using it and more manageable when you are. This is quite a big lump to have hanging off a device when you're sort of moving around. This is also significantly easier to use. Taking on board my comments about the one button interface being not that intuitive, Cord has decided that you know, they're not going to take that lying down. Unless you pay attention to the manual and know exactly what you're doing, it's possible to get quite lost in the settings of the Mojo 2. And I say that as someone that uses them all the time and has examples going all the way back to the original Mojo. It's not intuitive in a way that this is. And I would also say that when you are out and about, on the move, even allowing for decent isolation from a decent pair of IEMs, whatever advantages this might have in a quiet, considered setting as this probably tend to disappear, and the Astell&Kern is able to make a very, very good account of itself. If you are alternating between desktop use and a little bit of portable, I mean, this is peerless. It really is a genuinely outstanding product. If your main use case is moving around, for the same money, I'd probably be inclined to go with the Astell&Kern. What they've done is make use of all of their experience in making portable hardware to make a device which is better when used on the move. And I think that means they're probably going to do rather well out of it. Obviously the decision is yours. Please do chime in the comments, tell us which one you would go for. There is a full written review that accompanies this video that's on the site. Some of the same comments are made there as well. Let us know what you think. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There will of course be more content in due course. There may be more cats involved in it as well. There's been one off camera behaving itself for the duration of this entire video. That can't last. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.